All right, what's up guys? This is Brett from FBA Excel, and this video is going to be going over the PPC Dominator Pro training. So if you haven't checked out the free version of this and the training video for that, go check that out. I think it gives a pretty good basic understanding of the different tabs, and essentially the main difference with this one in the Pro version is there's a SKU dashboard to enable bidding at the SKU level, and then also just some additional features with regards to ad insights and some extra filters that come in pretty handy. So as far as getting started, it's going to be the exact same process as the free training if you check that out already. So you're going to plug in your FBA Excel login, your password that you use to log into the website. Make sure you don't have any numbers there in your password too, so you may have to redo your password on the website to make sure this works. As far as the upload folder ID, same deal. You need a Google Drive folder, just a generic folder, and you're going to grab that ID and then go back and just paste that in that cell there. You can leave all these kind of the same to start out with. This checkbox, basically you'll pretty much always have it checked, but if you ever didn't want to use the SKU dashboard and you want to disable it, you could always just uncheck that, and then it wouldn't pay any attention to the SKU dashboard inputs for bidding purposes. So this button, depending on when you're watching it, may look a little different, but it'll have a one-time authorization somewhere. You just click that button and it'll ask you to authorize the Google account that you have set up. I would recommend just creating like a generic blank brand new Google account and just use it for the FBA Excel tool, so kind of all your Google Drive folders are empty when you start out with, and that just kind of keeps everything separated from all your personal Google Drive stuff. We do have some permission requests for access to the Google Drive folders and whatnot that you set up here, so if you keep everything separate, it just makes it a little bit more organized. So you'll hit advanced and then go down here to go to PPC Dominator. That enables all the scripts. Then you just hit allow. And again, you'll just have to do that one time, so the next time you come into the tool you won't need to do that. If the menu is not enabled when you open it up the next time, you can always click this button here to enable the menu. And that's pretty much it for the settings tab. In the free version training video, I kind of went over how these filters work and correlate to the bulk file, so go and check that out. One of the main differences in the Pro version is there is a onboarding sequence that we have to do. We're actually going to run up and get our all listing file and fee preview report from Seller Central. So we've got a kind of a shortcut button here. You just click this and it's going to open two windows. All right, so once you log into this one, we're actually going to need our all listing report. So you just click that one time, hit request report, and then you'll download it right here. And you can just download it to your Google Drive account. All right, and then the other one we need is the fee preview report. If you scroll down, you can just click here and you'll click request CSV download. And then once that's done, you'll grab that. I know this says text, but you'll want the CSV version. Just download that, save it to your Google Drive, and then you can get out of there. And we're just going to import both of these files really quick. So go to File, Import, and I've got a version of this saved. Let's see. Yeah, all listing. And then you'll just do insert new sheet, detect automatically. And then same deal, fee preview report, insert new sheet, detect automatically. All right. Now the fee preview report actually is not required if you don't want to add the kind of profit calculation capability. This just helps get some of the data for that if you want, but it's not too hard to add. So you just come up here, you add a filter first like I just did, and also with Z to A, and we're just interested in the US metrics right now, so you can see where it kind of changed to inches there. I'll just grab that data, Control C, and then what we're going to do, we're going to go up to the onboarding sequence here and hit paste all listing and fee preview report data and hit yes. And that'll take us over to the page here. You can see these orange columns. These are actually the only two columns that are required. The others are not required. I think I lost my copy. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, so paste that fee preview data in there. Make sure you don't overwrite this column here that gives you your lowest price. And we're going to go and grab our all listing report. You can see we need our SKU name, ASIN, and type. So we're going to go to our all listing, and our SKU is right here. Our name is right here. So just drag that over there. Then we need our ASIN. We'll just drag that there. And then the type is right here. Purpose of the type is just to distinguish between like FBM and FBA. So usually there's a number scheme here. 3s are usually FBA. I think 4s are as well, depending on how you imported your product initially. But I'm just going to put a filter there, sort Z to A, and I'm going to grab all my FBA products. So just there. Actually, I'm going to change the 3s to FBA just because it looks a little better. And if I can grab it, there we go. All right, and all you're going to do is copy this and paste it here, and then you're done with the onboarding. So you can pretty much delete these guys. If you don't have access to these reports, the other option is obviously just to type in your SKU and your ASIN, and that's really all you need. All right, and then once you're there, you're going to go back to onboarding and just click Build Products Dashboard. Then you're going to hit yes. All right, and then you're going to get a sync complete notification, and then you'll watch up here, it'll say finish script. You kind of always want to wait when you're running scripts in Google Sheets for that notification. All right, and then once we're done with that, we've effectively gone through the onboarding process and the SKU dashboard now. The sync products, this is anytime you want to add more products, maybe you launch, I don't know, a couple products and you just don't want to type them in manually. You can always go back to either this button here, takes you to the same place that we just were, and you can just add them here as you launch new ones, and then click sync products and it'll add it to your SKU dashboard. The other feature there is the calculate profits. So if I click on that, it'll hop me back over to the SKU dashboard. You can see here it pulls in our fee preview data. If we put in our landed cost, it's just going to give us a calculation on our gross margin, ROI, stuff like that. You can add coupons. So it's just a handy kind of feature to have when you're setting up your SKU level bid inputs and analyzing your metrics that get imported after we pull in our bulk file. So that's basically that. You can collapse it if you're not using it. All right, so the next step is we actually just need to go through the exact same process that we did in the free one, where we go out and get a bulk file. So I'm going to click on this, and this is going to take us out to Seller Central, and as long as you're logged in already, it'll take you right to the Campaign Manager sheet here for bulk files, and you'll just click the drop down here, and I like to choose 60-day on the first month, first 2 weeks to month. You'll want to run with 60 days just to have as much data as possible, and after that you can maybe drop down to 30 days, but you'll just hit create spreadsheet. The other thing too, if you have an error when you go to download this, just go ahead and hit refresh, and that should, actually I lied, you need to go sponsored, you need to click this little sidebar and then hit bulk operations, and then it will fix the URL. So, and then you just download these files. When they're done, you'll download the one that's in process there, but then you'll save it to your Google Drive. If you look in the members area, I've got a link to the desktop application that you can download to sync your Google Drive to your favorites folder, whether you're using a Mac or PC, and then you can just easily save it straight to your Google Drive. It makes things a lot easier. I'm not going to save one because I've already got a test one, but I'll leave this open for when we go to upload our revised bulk file. So going back to the PPC Dominator now, I can go up to File, Import, and I'm just going to go and find that bulk file. I've got a test one here, and you'll go Insert New Sheet, Import Data. All right, so at this step, depending on how many rows you have in your Sponsored Products Campaigns tab, you can click on that and scroll down to the bottom and see how many you have. If you have like 70,000 or something like that, it's really going to put a lot of pressure on Google Sheets. So one option here you have is you can go to reduced imported bulk file size, and you can remove any of these rows that you're not going to be using. And this is kind of the stage you would do that at if you need to. But if you don't need to, that's fine. Hopefully you don't, and you've got things pretty well optimized. You can always also kind of go through and archive campaigns you don't want, and then the next time you download a bulk file, they will not be included in here, so it'll make things run quicker. But once you have this in here, same as the free version, you just go down and hit step 2, initialize bulk file, And this is going to add some additional columns off to the right of our bulk file layout. It's actually going to check our SKUs in our bulk file and compare that against our SKU dashboard to give us the metrics we need there. And you'll get a prompt when all is said and done and ready. And then we can move on to the next step, which is just assigning our bid inputs. All right, and now when you get this prompt, you'll just want to hover over the OK button until you get that like pointer finger. Sometimes there's a little bit of a lag, so hit OK. Then you'll wait for that finished script to show up. And once that finished script goes away, then you are good to go. You can always hide this SC reports, just don't delete it. So I'm going to hide that because I'm not using it. So now if we go back, you'll see SKU level metrics here. And these can be handy just to help determine what SKU level bid inputs settings that you want to set, and if you want to adjust them going forward, you can kind of keep a history. I like to click this plus button here, and you can actually just copy static values of, say, your ACOS or maybe your orders, however you want to do it, and you can just put the date in the header up here and get an idea from day to day how things are progressing. You can actually do that on the SKU dashboard, and you can do it on the bid override table here if we just click that. So keep that in mind. And then what you'll have over here on your bulk file now is just a kind of clean layout of your bulk sheet, as well as the additional columns similar to the free version where you've got your single SKU column. This is going to give you a quick filter for any campaigns that are set up with single SKU structure. So if you wanted to, for example, pause all of one SKU really quickly, you could filter by that SKU and then just pause in this column, and that will work fine. As far as the bid inputs, which is kind of the step we're at now, we've gone through initialized. Now we need to set our bid inputs, and then the third step here is to optimize our bids and then re-upload to the campaign manager. But as far as the bid settings, I like to just start in the SKU dashboard. This is the additional tab that was not in the free version, and you can just drag down the defaults here and then make some tweaks to them depending on what the economics of your product and kind of what the average bids are, stuff like that. So you'll want to pay attention to your max bid threshold setting, because this is going to be the upper ceiling of any of the bid calculations. So if you have one that again is converting it and recommending when it does the revenue per click times target ACOS calculation that it should be like $1.25, and you have this set at 75 cents, then it's going to bid at 75 cents instead of the $1.25. So rewatch the free version training video, and you'll get an idea of all these columns. They're consistent with the bid override table. The idea, though, is on the bid override table, with the exception of the count level row, this top red row, you'd want to bid more aggressive here, because the bids for any targets that we add are going to be, are going to take precedence over both the account level row and our SKU level bid input. So you can set these a little more conservative, and then anything you really want to, target and rank for, and maybe your top 20% of targets that are producing 80% of your results, you put those on the bid override table and bid more aggressive. That's a good way to kind of strike a good balance. At any rate, once these targets or bid settings are set, then you want to go over to your bid override table, and if you have any specific targets that you want to add here, you can just add the SKU here and then the specific keyword or ASIN that you're wanting to target. The other nice thing about this tool is you can import the keyword Dominator data. So go back and watch the free version. I cover an example of that, but I do have just a test file here I'll import real quick. If I can find it. Let's see. Here we go. So it'll be named the SKU, and you just do replace data at selected cell, import data. And then this yellow means that it doesn't have any bid settings applied yet. So we can either drag down more aggressive bid settings, or you can actually set a fixed override. So if I wanted all these at $1, for example, and one good way to check is come up here. Anytime you add targets to this table, just click Sync Metrics, and it's going to look at your bulk sheet and then pull in the metrics. One key point is obviously if you aren't currently running PPC campaigns for specific targets and you pull them in from the keyword Dominator, then you're going to get a bunch of zeros here. So keep that in mind. But you can see with this test data, it's got pretty low CPCs. So you can always go back and actually, if you click this keyword Dominator targets and just show all the campaigns, you can check the placement rows and get an idea if it's showing and converting better on top of search or product pages. So that can be helpful. So run campaign ES, I want to do that. All right, so all these are in one campaign, as you can see, and this is dummy data, so there is no placement data, but here's the placement rows, so you could easily go and just see top of search is right there, product pages is right there. Are you getting a higher conversion, and what your cost per click would show up over here, and that could give you an indication of what you might set a fixed bid override to if you want to always target top of search and really try to go after the top placement. All right, the tags filter here, or the column here, is you can just say, if you're wanting to increase rank, maybe you call it rank or whatever custom name you want to give it. And then you also got the keyword Dominator data hidden here too, which you can use just to sort and filter, or you can use in a custom formula. If you know how to write your own formulas, you can do, if certain conditions are met in these metrics and you've got a high enough search volume, or it's got your organic rank as well, you could build a bunch of different type of things off of the data. And the idea then here with the keyword Dominator data is because you've got the SKU column here, you can easily sort by A to Z, and that'll get you in a pretty good generic default sort where all the SKUs are in line. Then you can overwrite your blocks of SKU data from each keyword Dominator file, maybe weekly or however you want to do it. And then if you end up changing your targets, you just got to keep that in mind from your keyword Dominator data. But you can always add tags, like say you want to add some manually, you can add tags to those and leave the ones that are keyword Dominator based, either tag those keyword Dominator or leave them blank, however you want to do it. So you kind of have to develop your own operating procedure around this. I'm just trying to give you some, I guess, best practices. But after that, after you have your bid override settings set, and I don't think I mentioned either that this column here will take precedence over any of the ratio-based bid settings. So if you have a fixed number in here, that's what the bid is going to be set to for that target. So I'm going to delete that, but. Then the last step here before you upload it is you're just going to click optimize bids, and then that's going to hop you back over to your bulk sheet and run the calculation for optimizing your bids based on your current bid, each target's target level metrics, and the bid input settings that we've set in the different locations. So once you have that, you can see this column here changed from the original bid column. If you don't want to make any other changes or check anything manually, then you're good to go and create an upload file. And that upload file is going to be sent to wherever you have this upload folder ID specified. And then all you'll have to do after that's finished is go here, choose file, locate that file, and then upload it, and you're good to go. So then your bids will be updated. And then the next day, all you'll need to do is delete this tab here for your bulk sheet, and then you'll import a new one like we did at the beginning of the video. So that's kind of the cycle that you need to follow. As far as this version, the Pro version, there are some additional filters and features for specifically a dupe checker. So this will help you with keyword cannibalism. If you've created a bunch of campaigns with targets in them that are for the same ASIN and you're essentially maybe bidding against yourself, it'll organize the data in a way that you can easily go down through. You can see here, like I've got the same keyword in two exact campaigns. One of them's got 11 impressions, one of them's got 0. You can go through and just pause one of each of these to where you're not bidding against yourself, or you're bidding on the one that's currently performing well. Like this one's got 15 orders, this one has 0, so I'd want to pause this one, for example. And you can just type the word paused in the status column, and that'll pause it at the keyword level. All right. I think I went over poor performers in the free training video, so check that out. I went over some of these as well. I think I went over all of these as well, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. The add headers row, this just adds actually that's not going to work because I'm filtered. So you need to go here, show all, and this just adds a way to quickly see, different campaigns and when one starts and one stops. The black line is the campaign rows, so each black line is essentially a new campaign. If you do have a lot of data in your bulk file, though, I would not recommend keeping that on for very long because it does slow things down a little bit, so you can always remove it. All right, and then the add insights. So that's another additional feature with the Pro version. It's going to bounce you over to the labs tile after we click on any of these. So let's say I want to see the spend breakdown by match type. We can actually put 3 metrics side by side and just kind of analyze things. I'll show you real quick here how to use these tiles to your advantage. All right, so there's the spend one. Let's say we also want to know the orders. And lastly, let's look at our ACOS. All right, so what we can do here, you can see how it's got the image of the SKU and you got your SKU here. They're not in the same order, so if we do want to put them in the same order, if you just click one time, you can change the order here, sort by, and you can do single SKU. If you change that in all of them, it'll sort it by the SKU, so that kind of all your metrics are lined up. So that's pretty handy. See these weird lines that show up? If you want to change that, you can change your zoom resolution usually, and they'll go away. It's just kind of a quirk with Google Sheets. But all right, one other thing to keep in mind with these tiles is it has a enabled filter on it, so it is showing you just enabled targets that are in enabled ad groups that are in enabled campaigns. So if you wanted to know like your actual metrics over the course of a month, let's say, if that's what you imported, and you want to include paused and stuff like that, you'd actually want to go through and X out of these filters here, and it'll show you that data then. So just know that that's there. The campaign quicksort, I went over that in the free version of the PPC Dominator. The target quicksort is a new filter here. You can essentially just type in a list of targets there, and then you use the labs target quicksort, and you can show the list of targets for in your bulk sheet for that list, or you can show everything but that list by using that. So that can be useful for different applications. But other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. Again, the big change here is going to be the SKU dashboard, just allowing you to segment down further, as well as the dupe checker, the ad insights that we just went over. But some of these other filters, go back again and watch the free training video, and you'll see some more demonstration on that. Then after you're satisfied with everything and you're ready to upload a file back to Google, or back to the campaign manager under the bulk ops sheet, you'll want to just click on create upload file, and that's going to take you back over to your bulk sheet and kind of reset everything, and then save the file in the correct location. All right, and then once you get that prompt, you are good to go. You can just go over and this is not the file that I just saved, but that's what it'll look like. This is a different folder. So you'll just go and click choose file and then go locate it. And then there'll be an upload button that pops up here. You'll just click upload, and that's pretty much it. Your bids will be updated, and you're ready for the next time then you want to update your bids. The only other thing I'll mention that you can do, most people don't know about this, if you hit file version history, you can name a current version. So you could name this the date, for example, in this state right here with your bulk sheet. And anytime you wanted to go back to that within, I think maybe 30 days, you could click see version history, and you could basically go back in time to this current state. And another nice thing you can do is label your bulk upload files in your Google Drive folder and kind of save those. For example, if you have a really good day or you just have a ton of sales, sometimes it's valuable to go back and just kind of get an idea and better understanding of that bulk file and what may be different than maybe what you're currently doing. So those are 2 other tips, and that is basically all I got. So if you guys have any questions at all on this, don't hesitate to reach out over on the website, and I'll do my best to help. Thanks, guys.